How's it going, y'all? Today we're going to be talking about the Anycubic Wash and Cure Station Plus. Through my work, I have made use of 2 of these wash and cure stations for well over a year, and they both have one glaring issue. So let's get into it. Each wash station comes equipped with a plastic stirring fan that needs to be removed regularly for cleaning. On the underside of the stirring fan, 4 strong magnets interface with the wash station's base. When powered, the base will use the magnets to spin the stirring fan. The magnets inside our wash bucket are unfortunately prone to rust, and the thin plastic coating tends to flake off into our isopropanol and stick to prints. The rust not only pollutes the iso, but it also spreads to other metal components inside the wash station. Most of these components just need to be cleaned and resealed, but the magnets themselves will need to be replaced. Using my digital calipers, I found that the magnets are 30 millimeters in diameter and 5 millimeters in height. Using a compass, I determined that a north-facing polarity is required for all 4 magnets. I was able to find these magnets on Amazon that matched our measurements, but it does not give you the option to select a polar direction. I purchased twice as many as I needed, just in case, and found that they sent me half south and half north-facing magnets. The south-facing magnets will need to be used for other projects. If anyone has a better resource for magnets, please leave a comment down below. There has to be a more efficient way to do this. Using a compass, it's very easy to tell the magnetic polarity of any magnet. You can use any compass for this. This was just the only compass they had at the hardware store I went to. While I was there, I also picked up this all-purpose cleaner for rust. Next, I'll remove each screw and each magnet individually. Each of these old magnets will need to be placed somewhere temporarily for storage. The counter that I'm working on right now is actually metal, so be careful. Also, don't do what I just did. Be very careful when placing these magnets anywhere near one another. The magnets are very strong and will want to stick to one another. What I did here with the cloth was I put 2 layers of cloth between each magnet, and I layered them in an alternating pattern like this, so that I was able to store them in the cloth to help kind of dampen the magnetic field around the magnets so that they wouldn't get stuck to anything. I was able to then just store these temporarily. Don't throw them away. It can actually wreak havoc on waste disposal. So either demagnetize them properly or use them for other projects after cleaning them thoroughly. For this next step, we're going to take a steel wool brush and our other metal screws and washers. I'm just going to go ahead and give them a good once over with the brush. Keep in mind that I actually have 2 wash station screw sets here, so I have twice as many screws and washers as you should, so don't freak out if I have too many screws on the screen here. But I'm just going to give them a once over with the steel wool and spraying it with that all-purpose rust remover. This is just going to help break down and remove any rust that's on the surface of the metal. You don't want to scrape off the top layer of metal that's on these guys. You just want to, very light touches, scrape off the rust that's built up on the very top surface. Next, we're going to take our plastic stirring fan with the bearing still inside and try and scrape off some of the rust that's still on the surface here. I'm just going to be dipping my brush sort of in just a little pool of the rust remover to try and wet it, just to try and get the rust out. Trying to be careful with the bearing. I don't want to do anything that could potentially lock up our bearing or increase the resistance. Basically anything that could harm the blade's ability to spin freely. So just trying to get in there and just remove the rust, and that's really it. I'm trying to be very careful with this bearing. I did at one point consider trying to replace this bearing, but I found that it's fused pretty well into the stirring fan, so trying to remove it and replace it with another one might prove to be pretty difficult and is not really worth it, since the bearing itself doesn't appear to be creating or causing rust. It's really just rust buildup on the surface from those magnets. This next step is optional. I decided to use some Rust-Oleum crystal clear enamel to create a protective layer around some of the different metal pieces to hopefully prevent any future rusting. I used a very thin coat on most of these components. Realistically, I probably should have done at least 2 or 3 coats, but so far, a year later, I've had no new rust forming, so this may or may not have been entirely necessary. But it's better to be safe than sorry. I also decided to go ahead and give our new magnets a little coat of clear coat. This, again, just to give it some extra protection and prevent rusting in the future. Okay, now that we've let our metal components dry, we are ready to add our new magnets back onto the freshly cleaned stirring fan. So using the same screws as before, obviously now rust-free, we can add our new magnets back in. So we're just going to install them one by one. Again, make sure that all the magnets you have set aside here are all north-facing magnets. It's very important that they are oriented the proper direction. If you do have any south-facing magnets in the mix, it can cause the fan to skip and could potentially damage your system if you use it for an extended period of time. I would say double check, triple check, just make sure all the magnets you grab, all the magnets that you use here are all north facing. Now, all that's left is to reinstall your fan into the wash station. Make sure you don't forget any washers or screws and take it for a spin. Now that we've confirmed that our new magnets are taking to the machine nicely, we'll replace our washing basket and fill the wash station with some fresh 99% isopropyl alcohol and run another test. And so there you have it. After utilizing this newly restored system for about a year since recording this footage, I can confidently say that this has cured the rust problem that has plagued my wash station since its purchase. I think I used this wash station for a few months before I started noticing some minor rust, and within a year it was almost unusable in its state. This restoration was fully necessary, and ever since replacing the magnets and cleaning the rust off, I've seen no new rust form, which has been incredible to see. I've seen online when researching this topic, there are a lot of people who have been experiencing this same very thing. A lot of people who have purchased Anycubic Wash stations of various models have also experienced rusting with the magnets specifically. So if you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment down below, and I have a ton of videos planned this year, so make sure to get subscribed for more. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.